Annette, and I am so excited today to be giving you my review of Fenty Skin. As you can tell from the title, this wasn't as the usual length that I do for my usual pat or toss reviews. For those who are new here, Pat or Toss is my review series where I let you know if a product is one that I would recommend that you pat on your skin, or if it's a product that I recommend that you simply toss. For Fenty Skin, I tried out the entire line and I had 2 days of use, so I use it in my morning and my nighttime routine both days, and I just decided to return 2 items. I'm gonna walk you through the entire line today, and I'm also gonna let you know which products it was that I did end up returning, very unfortunately. I want to really stress in this video that this is just my opinion. Everybody's skin is completely different. I have talked to people who loved the entire line of Fenty Skin. I have talked to people who hated it. I've talked to people who loved only one product, only 2 products from it, you know, so it's just like everyone's skin is completely different. This is no hate, this is no shade. Rihanna is one of the most impactful individuals, not even women, impactful individuals in the entire world. She's a trailblazer, she's impeccable. She is just a stunning, funny, talented individual. So this is just a review. This is no shade, and no shade will be tolerated in the comments either. This is just constructive critique, and that's all it is. So if you're interested in watching and learning about my opinion and my experience, please keep on watching and let's go ahead. But before we get into that today, just really quickly, please kindly consider liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing to my channel. I am currently trying to reach 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. That is my absolute goal right now. So please kindly help me if you would not mind by subscribing to my channel. So I've divided this video into 3 parts. I'm gonna be showing my first impressions review during the video. I'll intercut here and there, as well as I'm going to show my nighttime routine from one of the nights that I used the product. Really quickly, I want to say that the reason why I ended up returning the products really quickly, and just part of the reason why I would say I ended up returning the products really quickly after just 2 nights of use, is because I'm currently in Canada because of the whole pandemic. So I'm in my parents' house, I'm in Canada, and international shipping, according to Fenty Skin, I only had 10 business days to return the product. And because I saw signs already on my skin that I knew this might not be for me, I decided to go ahead and just make the return. If you are in the US, you have 60 days, so please don't start panicking. But just for international orders, it's only 10. So that's just the thing. So just if you're in the US, please don't start stressing out about anything. You're fine. So I'm first gonna start talking about the Hydra Visor. This is the sunscreen and the moisturizer hybrid. So I'm gonna talk about that. First, I'm gonna read to you how Fenty Skin describes this product. So they say, this 2-in-1 moisturizer and sunscreen is lightweight, oil-free, and truly invisible on all skin tones. It claps back at dehydration, discoloration, dark spots, and they say it's makeup friendly too, with no piling and 0 flashback. Another thing about this product is the fact that it is the refillable product. It's really, really, really ingenious the way Fenty thought about this. And it's really incredible because one of the main concerns that's happening right now in the skincare community is how can we reduce our economic footprint, essentially. And so I really think it's incredible for Rihanna to, you know, take charge on that and to really push other brands to see that it's really nothing that's that difficult to do. So I really, really appreciated the fact that it was refillable. I'm going to talk about the top 5 ingredients. So in all of my pat or toss review videos, I talk about the top 5 ingredients. That is because looking at an ingredient list from the top down, that means the heavier formulation within the entire product is at the top. So I look at the top 5 ingredients. You're supposed to look at all the ingredients because all the ingredients matter, but just because I don't have enough time, I like to look at the top 5. So looking at the top 5, the first ingredient for the Hydra Visor, this is the SPF moisturizer hybrid, the first ingredient is water, which is fantastic. The second ingredient is glycerin. Glycerin is fantastic. It's a humectant. It holds on to the water particles that are on the skin and keeps the skin hydrated. So then after that, you have Carthamus tincoreus. This is the safflower. And so safflower is an antioxidant. It helps the skin as well. If you have dry skin, this really helps for that. It helps it to stay hydrated. So then the fourth ingredient is pentyl glycol. This is a texture enhancer. The fifth ingredient is also butylene glycol, which is another texture enhancer. So those are the ingredients. The entire ingredient, the fragrance was listed towards the bottom. So that's good, you know, because you really don't want the fragrance to be listed right at the top, you know, for a lot of reasons, but mostly because that can be rather sensitizing to the skin. And you might not notice it immediately, but you would notice it over time. My color scheme just changed. Oh, I don't know what happened. Oh my God. Do y'all see me in sepia or am I going crazy? Oh, I don't know what happened. Okay. All right, this video is gonna be in sepia. I don't know what's happening. Let me see what's going on. Okay, so then I'm going to now talk about the good aspects of this product. So I have my notes, I'm just gonna be looking down at it. So for the good, I have listed that it's economical. I love the packaging, as I mentioned earlier. It's easy to use and it's moisturizing. So with this product, when I say easy to use, it's because it has the twist up, which is actually how you get the refillable package and the actual product together. So you twist it up and you can just pump it and you're good to go. On top of it, it is actually moisturizing. When I use different products, the one way I can kind of tell about how a product works is around my mouth area, I am incredibly dry. So when I put on different products, I can kind of tell if it's whether moisturizing or hydrating based on how I react around that area. And when I did use this moisturizer, definitely it was really incredible and moisturizing. Now onto the flip side of the good. So for me, I found that the product was greasy. And I'm gonna explain why when I talk about the fat water toner. That's what it looks like. It's a rather light consistency as well, as I showed earlier on. So the moisturizer definitely feels hydrating. Not feeling any tightness or tugness once the moisturizer is on. Again, it's like it sucks to go to bed with sunscreen on my face. So I don't know if I might use the moisturizer every single night. So for me, I found that the product was rather greasy when I put it and it settled on my skin. Yes, it was moisturizing, but on my skin specifically, I don't know what it's like for other people, but on my skin specifically, I found it to be a little bit on the greasier side. And I don't know if that's because of the fact that it's mixed with the SPF. So I definitely ended up using a lot. Because of the fact that I needed that SPF coverage. This was in the morning when I did my morning routine. So I used a lot of the moisturizer, and not a lot, but just, you know, enough to compensate for the fact that it is also an SPF. So then that kind of ties into the other aspect of it too that I wasn't so fond of. The entire Fenty Skin line, Rihanna is trying to do 2-in-1s, which is very smart. It makes sense. I get where she's coming from. But skincare can be rather specific. So when it comes to, for instance, your moisturizer and your SPF, mixing moisturizer and SPFs are not necessarily advised, simply because the moisturizer can dilute the efficiency and strength of the sunscreen. That's scientifically backed. A lot of scientists will tell you that, and chemists will tell you that. So that's one thing. But then the other thing is that you really do need to use much more sunscreen than you would a moisturizer. You have to have adequate coverage of sunscreen on your skin. And so I kind of found it hard to kind of do that dance of, well, how much should I be using, where it's not too much of a moisturizer, but it's enough for a sunscreen. So that's one thing that I'll say that I really wasn't a fan of. So, yeah. So then after that, the other thing too that kind of ties into that is because I would kind of try and find that balance, it felt very slippery on my skin. So for instance, I was doing some work and I had my hand like this on my skin, and my hand like almost like slipped off. And so because I had all of that on, and because my skin felt greasy, so that kind of happened, and I looked down on my hand and there was a bunch of oil. Like right now I'm not wearing the Hydra visor, and I can put my hand on my cheek and I erase it and there's no oil on there. When I had used the Hydra visor, I noticed a lot of oil was on my skin. So that's one other thing that I will say. Then the final thing that I had to say about the Hydra visor was the fact that it's not bad, you know, to use SPF at night, but it's like not something that you want to do. You know, it can clog your pores to use it like that overnight. You want the skin to breathe, you want it to rejuvenate, or regenerate, sorry. So you wanted to do those things, and so it was kind of hard really to just kind of, you know, put it on at night and go to bed with, and I just felt like the heaviness of it on my skin. I didn't really appreciate that. So that would be another aspect of it that I wasn't a huge fan of. So all of that said, I unfortunately would recommend that you toss on the Hydra Visor product for Fenty Skin. And that's just my review, that's from my experience. Now, I'm really sorry that the color is like shifting. I'm using a different camera today, so I will definitely look into that and see what exactly is going on. But just for today, I'm so sorry that the color seems to be shifting. Like I was sepia for a second, and now it looks like I'm in Ice Age. You know, where's the squirrel? But whatever, Pixar, call me, I don't know. So, moving on. So now I'm going to talk about the Fat Water Toner. This is probably one of the most discussed products of Fenty Skin. And so that's something that I was pretty excited to try. It's just because when I was on my feed, I wasn't even looking really for Fenty Skin reviews, but on my feed, everyone who had a Fenty Skin product, the one product I was seeing was the Fat Water Toner. So I'm gonna talk about how Fenty describes the product. So, here's what Fenty says. A 2-in-1 toner serum combo that targets pores, improves the look of dark spots, brightens, smooths, and fights shine, all without stripping skin. So that's how Fenty describes the product. I will say that looking at the formulation of this product, I would more so call this an essence, because it's not quite a toner, but it's not quite a serum either. It's kind of that in between. So I would actually kind of brand this more so as an essence, but you know, potato, doesn't really matter. So I'm gonna talk about the top 5 ingredients for this. So the first ingredient for the Fat Water Toner is water, which is the same as the last product. The second ingredient is witch hazel. Oh boy, I'm gonna get into that in a second. The third ingredient is butylene glycol, same as the other one. And then the fourth ingredient is actually niacinamide. Niacinamide is an antioxidant. It's a fantastic ingredient. It's a powerful ingredient. If you're looking specifically, like she mentioned, with the pores, but then also with hyperpigmentation, uneven skin tone, niacinamide is such a fantastic ingredient to have in there for targeting dark spots, which is how the product is advertised. Then the final ingredient is polysorbate 20. This is an emulsifier. It keeps unlike ingredients together, essentially. So that's the top 5 ingredients. And then the same thing as the other product, most of the fragrances are listed at the bottom. So they're all down there. They're not like in the top 5 section, so you're good. So I'm gonna start by talking again about the good. So one of the aspects of this product that I just noticed immediately was the fact that it was so pretty to look at. It was like, what are those like lava lamps? That's literally what that product was like. I kept on just looking at it. I was like, oh my god, look at this. Like, it was so pretty to look at. And it just feels rich. You know, like it just feels like a rich product. It looks rich, it feels rich, it's cute to look at. So I really like that a lot. The other thing that I really liked about it too is that it is actually packed with a lot of hydrating ingredients. It's packed with antioxidants. For instance, it has ginkgo biloba leaf extract. It has hyaluronic acid. It has niacinamide, like I mentioned. It has Camellia oleifera. So those are really, really great hydrating antioxidant ingredients. So it really is packed full with a lot of the good guys, I would say. So that is what I have to say about it being good. So on the flip side, so though it is hydrating in theory, I found that it was not hydrating in practice. We're gonna go in with the Fat Water Toner. It's that. Okay. This one's consistency is rather thick. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to really show it without dripping. Ooh, jeez. See, it's runny. So as you can see, it's very runny, but you know, not as thick, not as light as water. So I'm gonna put the, oh, it's a little bit dark, no? So I'm gonna put the toner on. This is the Fat Water Toner, which I would characterize more so as an essence. To be honest, I'm just gonna put a little bit more, just a little bit. It does tingle like my skin when I put it on, which is very interesting. It tingles the skin a little bit. So the Fat Water Toner, the second ingredient on the Fat Water Toner is witch hazel. So after I put that, I'm gonna work really quickly as my skin is damp. Right now, I'm gonna put on my hyaluronic acid serum, which is a humectant. And that's gonna, again, that's gonna work well with the Fat Water Toner to give me further hydration. So I just wanna share, like, let me zoom in. Ignore this part because I just put on my eye cream, but my skin is so dry after I use the Fat Water Toner. It is so dry. I don't know, I don't like that at all. I really don't like that. I like my skin to be very hydrated, very glowy, very naturally radiant. You know, and I do blame the witch hazel. It's the second ingredient, so that means it's heavily formulated in this product. But looking at it, it is so dry. My skin does not feel hydrated whatsoever. It just does not. It feels very dry, very like... You know, looking at the ingredients and the breakdown, I was like, okay, not bad, not bad. Like, it really had a lot of the good guys, as I mentioned. What I would think is the culprit is the witch hazel. Witch hazel is number 2 in this product, and I really, you know, I'm saying this because I do hope Rihanna takes it out. You know, just for me. I'm the only person, like, I'm like, hey, Rihanna, take it out. You know, but I kind of just felt like that was the culprit. So everything that I have to say that is not good about the product, I think ties to the witch hazel. For instance, it made my skin dry. It dried my skin the hell out. I had, like, right now looking at my skin, you can see there's like a natural glow, you know, it's like a natural glow. It's not like beads. When I used the Fat Water Toner, about midday, my skin was bursting with oil. It was bursting out of my skin. I had so much oil, and that is because witch hazel includes tannins. Tannins, the job of witch hazel is to limit or to combat the overproduction or the production of sebum, which is the oil on our skin. That is what witch hazel does. And so having it as the second ingredient, you know, I think that really does play a role. But like I said at the beginning of this video, this is really about my experience. If you watch my other video I have, which is about my skincare habits that I started to form to improve my skin, One of the things that I talk about is witch hazel. Witch hazel completely ruined my skin, and so I think that this might be a very specific problem. That's why I really want to just say this is about my skin. So I still want it to be removed. Sorry. So this is about my skin, but I still want her to take it out. But no, so the witch hazel for me, it made my skin overproduce oil. Like I mentioned, it looked like beads were like on my skin, like beads of sweat and oil. So it was really, really awful. And then the other issue too was because the fat water toner dried out my skin. When I was putting on my usual serums and things on top of it, my skin was not cooperating because it was so dry. When I apply my serums and my products, I like my skin to be damp. When your skin is damp, it allows the products to be absorbed a lot easier and better. When my skin, after I used the fat water toner, it was Sahara Desert dry. I was like slapping my skin to try and wake it up. I was like, what's happening? It was so dry. So that for me was a really big deal with the fat water toner, and I think that ties into why the moisturizer might have been greasy, is because when the fat water toner started to break down underneath, the moisturizer also with the SPF kind of just started to break down too, which made my skin very greasy and like slippery when I would lean on it. So I think that's part of the reason as well. And then the other thing too about the fat water toner, the fragrances are listed closer to the bottom, but I did find that the scent of the fat water toner was a bit strong compared to the rest of the line. So that's just my opinion though, as this whole video is my opinion. So I just found that the scent was definitely a little bit stronger for the fat water toner. So with all of this said, I very unfortunately would also recommend that you toss the fat water toner. For all the reasons that I mentioned, I just felt like there are a lot more toners out there that would do a much more substantial job for you. And also this is kind of like an essence. There are a lot of great essences out there that also would do a fantastic job for you. I personally just did not really have that experience that I wanted with the toner. So now I'm going to talk about the cleanser, which I actually kind of like how Rihanna spells it. She spells it CLEANS''R. Just, I don't know, it's kind of like, it's just more of her being that cool person that we all know her to be. So that's just it. So I'm gonna read how Fenty Skin describes it. So they say, this 2-in-1 makeup remover cleanser gives you the delicious deep clean you deserve. Its creamy lather removes dirt, oil, and long-wear makeup without stripping or drying. So that's how Fenty Skin describes the product. So now I'm going to read to you the top 5 ingredients. So the first ingredient, of course, is water. The second ingredient, the second ingredient, as well as the third and the fourth. Yeah, the second ingredient, third, and fourth are pretty much all of the same family. They're all cleansing agents. So the second ingredient is sodium cocoyl glycinate. The third ingredient is sodium cocoa phosphatate. The fourth ingredient is cocoa metapropyl betaine. Probably butchered all those pronunciations as I usually do, but those are all cleansing agents. They help with the removal of the oils and the dirt that are on the skin. And so then the fifth ingredient then is sodium chloride. This is just simply a thickener. This product is very, very thick, and so this is part of where that thickness comes from. So I'm now gonna talk about the good of this product. So the good of this product is the fact that it cleanses. Oh, does it cleanse? So again, with this product, Rihanna did not introduce an oil cleanser. So she kind of wants you to use it as a 2-in-1. So at nighttime, you're supposed to be double cleansing your skin, or whenever you have makeup and you want to remove it, you're supposed to use an oil cleanser, because that really helps to just break down the makeup that's on the skin and the dirt as well. So if you don't have makeup, even when you have just the sunscreen or your products on your skin, you are supposed to be double cleansing at night. So Rihanna, with this product, she wants you to use it in both stages. So she kind of is advertising it as its own double cleanser, if that makes any sense. So that's how she advertised it. I would still say, in my opinion, that you should still use an oil cleanser. That's just my opinion though. I did actually, for the 2 nights, use this as its own double cleanser, and it did work. You know, it was fantastic. It did not strip my skin. This cleanser feels so beautiful. Your skin feels like bouncy, healthy, like refreshed after you use it. So it will not strip your skin if you do use it twice, or even once. Like, obviously once it was fantastic. Twice did not strip the skin. But oil is still just the best and most sure way to use the oil cleanser to remove everything off the skin. So that's just something that I would recommend. The other aspect of this cleanser, surprisingly, is the fragrance. It's aromatic. So it's the aromatic experience. Every time I use this cleanser, I'm like there like, oh my gosh, this is the Rihanna, Beyonce experience. They're in front of me right now. They're performing. We're good. Nicki Minaj is about to perform. We got the Holy Trinity. Okay, like that's how it feels, literally, on the skin. And it smells so good. Like, it smells fantastic. It's not overpowering whatsoever. As well, again, in the ingredients list, the fragrances are also listed towards the end. So you don't have it in a high formulation for the product. But it is just such an incredible experience to use it for. So that's the other aspect of it that I loved. Then the other thing too is that, as I mentioned, it's non-stripping. You will not, I did not feel a tightness on my skin as I used it. It just felt refreshed, like I mentioned earlier. So then the other thing is the other aspect is that it is very thick, as I mentioned. Why I love the fact that it's thick is because you're not going to be using too much of the product. So really, I would say maybe 2.5 or 2 teardrops worth of the product is what you would need to be good to go. And it works, and you're gonna have a beautiful lather on the skin and you're good to go. So I love that because, again, you're not gonna be using too much. Then the other aspect I loved about this was the packaging. Oh my God. It is so annoying to have to like unscrew a cap off or whatever it may be. So the fact that the packaging is just like a twist and a pop and you're good to go. So I really love that as well. It's very easy, it's very quick. You twist it, put it out, and you're good to go. So I love that as well. Now I'm going to talk about the flip side. The flip side is really nothing too crazy. It's like I mentioned. So the thing is that, yes, the cleanser is beautiful. It has that aromatic experience. For this, really the entire line, you don't need fragrance in products. I mean, there are people out there that are gonna say like, oh, it's not, you know, people out there are saying that, you know, it's not super sensitizing, it's not the worst ingredient in the world. But at the same time, it's like, but it's not really necessary. Like, you don't really need to have it in there. So that's one thing I'll say about it is that, you know, of course, though, it is a wash-off product. So it's not a big deal that the fragrance is in there because you're not keeping it on the skin. But you don't really need it in there, just saying. Then the one thing I would say about it on the flip side that's not, that I'm not so much a fan of is just very simply that, like I mentioned, it's not really good for a double cleanse. So I would love if Rihanna would introduce an oil cleanser in addition to this one. So my skin is all wet. I'm going to now take the cleanser, which is really cool because looking right here, you can twist like that. So I'm gonna twist it open. Kind of already displayed this earlier in the day, but here. And out it comes. Let me just make sure I'm not overdoing it. I think that should be enough. About that much. So that's about as much as I'm gonna use. I'm just gonna lather it up. This lathers really, really well. That's it. And let's cleanse for 60 seconds and then 60 seconds again. And as far as the fragrance, this smells incredible for me. I don't have any current reactions. I don't have any reactions right now skin-wise, but also just not like scent-wise. I'm not like, oh, this is so strong. might have not put enough. But also maybe it's because this is, my skin needed a double cleanse, and so yeah. It might look that way because this is the first cleanse. But yeah, to me this is not that difficult. This is not that strong, I'm gonna say. I mean, so I'm just gonna rinse that and then I'm gonna do it again. I really hate wasting product. Okay, no problem. So another 60-second cleanse. From the first cleanse, my skin definitely felt like it got the gunk off of it. I would say just the feeling of the sunscreen, the reapplication of the sunscreen that accumulates during the day. Like, there's a certain feeling that you can just kind of tell. And after the first cleanse, definitely felt like that was removed, and then did not feel like my skin was stripped in any way. I just poked my nose. I'm sorry to anyone who's watching this. Like, oh, she used so much product. I didn't mean to. So here we are, completely soaking. I'm just gonna tap that. I like to keep my skin damp. Here's what the skin looks like. I think it looks incredible. It feels incredible. It really does not feel tight at all. You know, sometimes if you have to double cleanse with a specific cleanser twice, it might feel stripping the second time around. Right now, I'm not feeling that. So my final thoughts on the Fenty Skin is, number one, it is a fantastic start to her skincare line. There are just a few tweaks and I think she's really good to go. So I admire the idea that she hit the foundations for skincare. You know, you have your cleanser, you have the thought process of it needing to be able to remove makeup. There are no makeup wipes. Her website literally says, nah, no makeup wipes, we're not doing that. So I love that, you know, you have your SPF, you have your moisturizer. So it's fantastic that she hits the foundations for skincare. That's what I love about it. I also love the fact that she really incorporates antioxidants and hydrating ingredients. I have always said that those are the key ingredients, in my opinion, when it comes to skincare, especially because I don't really believe in trying to limit or combat your sebum production. I just think that as long as you have a balanced skincare routine, your skin will just naturally work for you. So that's my opinion. So I love the packaging as well for all of the products. I love it. I love the economical aspect as well for the Hydrovisor. That was also a great point for me. But then the main negatives for me were just the fact that the witch hazel was in the fat water toner. I feel like with the witch hazel, with the fragrance, you know, there's certainly a lot of ingredients that we know that do more harm than good. So why not just eliminate them to begin with? So that's kind of my main critique, I would say, about the line is that one. Then the other critique I would have in general as my final thought is just to not have 2-in-1 ingredients for everything. You know, it's not bad that she had the 2-in-1. It's, you know, it was cheaper, maybe, I'm sure, for consumers to make that purchase. But I feel like most of us would rather just shell out the extra money for 2 products than to buy 1 product that doesn't really do both effectively, if that makes any sense. So that's like an example for the Hydrovisor. I would much rather have a fantastic moisturizer and a fantastic sunscreen than just 2-in-1 that really doesn't get the job done. I would definitely say for the final thoughts of this entire series that you should go on ahead and pat the cleanser all over your skin. The cleanser was the only product that I ended up keeping, and I have actually continued using both morning and night, and my skin is glowing, it's radiant, it feels balanced, it feels refreshed every time I use it. And then unfortunately, I would recommend that you toss the Hydrovisor and the fat water toner. But I mean, we all know Rihanna, right? She's the queen. I know for a fact that she's working on it. She's gonna come back stronger, better than ever, and she's gonna make me eat my words, and I will gladly eat them because it's Rihanna. So I'm sure she's already working on it, and I'm sure I'm gonna go ahead and buy it the next time around. So those are all of my thoughts for today. I thank you all so much for watching this video. Please kindly consider liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing to my channel. There should be like a little YouTube icon on the bottom, and you can just easily click that and subscribe, or click the little subscribe next to my name. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Please let me know in the comment section below, have you used Fenty Skin? Are you